Alright guys, so in this quick video I'm going to cover how I set up the cooling system for the car. This took a bit of head scratching. The main reason is because I'm using the 3.9 Rover, referred to as the interim timing cover. There's a couple of differences in how the water pump and bypass system works. So on a older Rover with the older timing cover, so it also included a distributor like this one does, but things like the accessories were not on this serpentine belt setup. They were on regular old school V-rib belts and stuff like that. I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to move to one of these more modern belts. Also in the future I might be able to add a supercharger. The sort of centrifugal belt driven supercharger which I had in my car before, and I thought it was fantastic, so that might be on the cards. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use the more modern timing cover. The other benefit of the 3.9 timing cover is obviously distributor still brilliant. No need for expensive ECUs and things to control the ignition. But the other reason for this is that the 3.9 and later, so the 4 litre and the 4.6, all have a revised oil pump system, which is much more reliable. It's much better, and it runs off the cam, I believe. It's around the cam. It's like a gear around the cam, or maybe the crank. I can't remember. I think it's the crank. It's the crank. Yes. That's much better. You don't have any issues with them having a primer system. Before, you'd have to take the distributor out, and then the oil pump drive was at the bottom of the distributor, and you'd have to fashion some sort of tool to sort of wind the distributor around without the engine running by hand or with a drill, and that would prime the fuel pump and things. With this engine, you don't need to do that. So excellent. There's a couple of different nice things too. You've got oil cooler takeoffs. You can't see them here, but I've got a couple of brass bungs in there, so you can have an optional oil cooler and stuff like that. So back to the cooling anyway. Basically, yeah, because this 3.9, 4 litre, 4.6 style cover was built to use EFI, the cooling system was also changed massively in relation to how like the old school kind of coolant system would work with a cap on your radiator and stuff like that. And it moved to more sort of modern styles with external header or expansion tanks, whatever you want to call them. And that's the style I've actually gone with this car. I've actually taken the cooling system design from a 4.6 Range Rover, and the difference with that is the thermostat no longer lives in here. I've deleted it from here, so I basically just removed it, and it is an external thermostat down here. Now I know this looks really hideous. I'm going to get a black hose for that, by the way, as well, but it does actually work really well, and it's the only real way that I can do it with this. Because before you'd have a bypass, you can see under here, coming out of the timing cover, and that bypass doesn't exist. So, long story short, I'll show you how I've got this all running. So, this radiator here, which I'm sure most people are interested in, what on earth radiator do I use to fit? This is a, I believe it's a 50mm deep Sierra Cosworth radiator, or designed for a Sierra Cosworth. It's from China, and it wasn't that expensive and looks up to the job. You can see it fills the area really well, with very minimal requirements for chopping. I had to chop off a few bits here and there. Across this bit here has been chopped as well. I fashioned a centrally locating bracket here through the centre and out this side here too, using some rubber grommets. And I also drilled into the inner wing here and put a bolt on either side of those feet with, again, more rubber grommets to allow for some slight play and flex, but it is sturdy, nice and sturdy, but it will expand under heat and things like that. It also includes a M22 Temperature Switch for my electric fan. That's a switched ground. I bought the one that comes on at 88 degrees Celsius and turns off at 79 degrees Celsius. So basically I run power to the fan all the time, and then this is my switch ground. The minute this senses 88 degrees Celsius, it kicks in and will cool it until the temperature's at 79. So that seems pretty good for my application. The X's on each side of these are 35mm, I believe, and on that side too, so the top and bottom X's are 35 or 32mm, I can't remember. I had to use adapters, as you can see. So the hose system I've got here will start right at the bottom. So the first thing that's going to happen, obviously, is I've got here is the external thermostat. So right now, this whole system's closed off, and my thermostat's in there, which is closed. So this here runs straight to the pump. This big one here, this big 32mm flexi pipe. So this, so let's start off here. So the coolant's drawn this way, and it goes straight into the pump, and then through the heads, yada yada yada, and it comes out of this back here, and it goes into here, which is the top of the heater matrix. Through the heater matrix, warms us up, comes back out of the heater matrix, and then runs around down here, down here, down here, down here, and back to here. So that's one full loop done already. So as the pump's going, this is closed off, and that's one circuit. The second hose, you can see, comes out of the front of the timing cover right here, and runs down to the secondary bypass. So you've got two bypasses here, running the closed system. A third entrance to here is this, which is the header tank connection. I've removed the header tank. The header tank's going to live here, but for the purpose of this video, if I had it here, you wouldn't be able to see very well, so taking it off. So you fill the system, and all the coolant goes in through here, which is attached to a header tank, which is going to live right there. And yeah, it just draws. It draws from this side of the system all the time. It comes out of the main top bit here. This is a 38mm standard thermostat housing. This here is a really, really lucky find. This is the top coolant hose off a Renault Twingo. So it's 38mm here and 32mm there, and the bend's in the right place, and the bleed is at the top part of the system, which is perfect for this application. So if anyone else is looking for the parts, all these adapter parts can be found on auto silicon hoses. Here's a flexi pipe by, I can't remember, it's some sort of flexible ribbed core thing. That's a Range Rover thermostat. And yeah, so back to the Renault Twingo thing. Goes to a joiner, which is also my 1.8 NPT temperature sensor. Remember, I'm running V6 Capri clocks, so that is actually the V6 temperature sensor, which means my regular temperature reading is going to work on my 6-pod dash, and then go straight into the radiator. And that's one closed system until, of course, this opens, which frees up that. Fingers crossed it'll work. It seems a bit rudimentary. It's not as pretty as I wanted it to be, but hopefully it'll work. Again, that's a horrible piece of kit, but if it does its job, you know, and it means I can use the 3.9 timing cover with a carbureted setup, then happy days.